Okay guys, hello, welcome back. Thank you for the great feedback I've been getting on this channel that I've revved back up again. I just wanted to say, this is the top 10 list of the best good things about programming. Because I made a top 10 worst list, this is the top 10 best list. And don't take this list too seriously, because a lot of these, I kind of had to jam together. I had maybe 2 or 3 things, I put them into one because I wanted a top 10 and not a top 14, okay? Once I started looking at the good things about programming, I started coming up with more and more and more, and I realized there's a reason why people do programming, okay? There's a reason why I've been able to do this for over 21 years, and I plan on doing this for another 10, 20 years, okay? Before I retire. Don't take this list too seriously. A lot of these things could be swapped around. This is just my top 10 list of the best things about programming. The good things. I'm gonna look things at the good things. Okay, starting in at number 10. People will look up to you. People kind of admire you. Not everyone, granted. Not quite like being a doctor. You're like, ooh, he's a doctor, he's a lawyer. But people do look up to programmers at some level. I'll never forget in college, we were in this students in free enterprise group. We were this is a place where you learn how to be an entrepreneur and you come up with ideas for businesses. And I'll never forget there were a lot of marketing majors, business and finance. But when I said I was in computer information systems, I remember there were a few girls that were like, whoa, hey, this guy knows a lot, man. He's gonna be able to help us a lot. Okay, so people kind of do look up to programmers because it's kind of a mysterious art, and people think, man, that's really complicated. It's very similar to being like an engineer or something, a technologist, because programming is difficult at some level. But people do look up to you. Now, I'm not like a doctor or something like that, but people will look up to you. And what also that means is people will ask you to fix your computers. Your family will be like, oh, we got a computer guy in the family. It's so nice. Will you help me set up your my Wi-Fi router? Will you help me? I'm having a problem with this. Now that can be kind of bad and annoying, but it's kind of cool that people come to you for help, and you're able to help them. Like, I got my mom set up on her complete computer system, and I know where to go and get used computers and how to upgrade them. I got her started in eBay in 1999, and she's been doing it ever since. And she all the time, she'll say, man, and she's been doing eBay for years and years and years, and she'll say, man, you're the one that got me started in eBay. Do you know how much money she's made in eBay over the years? By 60, 80,000, just doing things on the side. So you're able to help people, you're valuable, people look up to you, it's a good thing, and that's my number 10. Number 9 is you will be able to do a lot of very useful things when you know how to program a computer and use a computer. So, for example, I was working as a volunteer for this ham radio group called Parks on the Air. And they were getting all this park data. And it was in an Excel spreadsheet. And it had name of the park, city, state, zip, and then some kind of designator code. And he was saying, there were 4,000 or 5,000 records, and the guy said, could you please help me split this up into multiple fields? Because I need to sort this on the website, but they just put them in one big field. He goes, to do it manually would take weeks, like one by one by one. So I was able to find a way to split the address up into multiple columns using a program where I read to the first comma, and I knew there were similarities in the names of the parks, like it was a state park, state park, state park. So I split all the state park stuff off, and I split the city, state, zip, and I split it all into columns, and the guy was like, thank you so much, you saved me so much time. I was like this hero, but I was valuable. There's something cool about automating things in a computer. You will create programs as a programmer that run in the background for you, and when things happen, it'll do it for you and you don't even know it. For example, another example, I enter this contest every day to win this very expensive item. And I set up a macro, so all I have to do is click a button and it goes through and fills out the whole form for me, and it hits enter, and I have an entry. I created a macro on my browser that allowed me to log into my library and go through and click all the renew my books. See, it is like a useful skill. It's like a useful tool because I can program, I can automate things. And when you can automate things, it's very valuable to businesses, but it's also valuable to yourself. And along those lines, it's also kind of cool because you can talk to thousands and thousands and even millions of people. You can communicate with them. A lot of the work I do on the web is used by thousands of people. It's kind of like you're almost like a radio DJ, not really, but you're putting something out there that millions of people will use, and thousands. Just like right now, I'm reaching an audience. I'm sitting in my room right now talking to a camera, but there's going to be 1,000, 2,000, 10 or 20,000 people or more that I'm talking to. And a lot of this has to do with my programming skills. I know how to use YouTube, I know how to use keywords, I know how to upload. All of these skills build on themselves and lend you to a huge audience. And automating things, I'm kind of cramming two into one, but it's a really cool skill to be able to automate things and reach a wide audience with web pages and things like that. And organization of information is unbelievably valuable in the information age. We're in the information age, and you as a programmer are going to be a master of information. Okay, number 8 is one that I came up with, and that as a programmer, it's a good feeling to think of yourself as an artist. So I'm going to call this, what you do is an art, in that you can craft a program in a way that is very valuable and efficient. I've seen inefficient programs that they might run 20 hours to take them to run. But I've seen people come in and whip out a code and make it really efficient, and it runs in 20 minutes. And businesses and companies love that. So when you look at a code, you can make a mess. You can write a mess. You're like a writer. It's like you're a writer. And you're also a technologist at the same time. So you're writing something that's very useful, and it's being run inside of a computer. So it's a kind of a cool concept to think of yourself as an artist, because you kind of are an artist. What you do is, when you look at it, when I look at really good code, sometimes I think, man, that guy's good. That guy's awesome. And I look at it like that to make it like a work of art, and it makes me feel good about what I do, and it makes me want to make perfect, great, awesome code. So, kind of a weird one, but you are an artist. And think of it that way. It's a really cool way to look at it. It's a really cool way to kind of think of yourself as doing puzzles all day. You're paid to do puzzles. You're solving problems in an artistic way using technology, and you're getting paid for it. It's really awesome. You are a paid puzzle fixer. Okay, number 7. You will be able to do a lot of things for free or very drastic discount that you need done in your home. What I mean by that is you will have these skills that other people will want, like being able to build your own computer. I built that computer back there. It's a pretty amazing, it's pretty high-end computer, and I didn't just have to run out and buy it. And I'm not dependent on Best Buy, the Geek Squad, right? I can do it myself. I can run our entire information systems in our house. I set up the network, the Wi-Fi network. I've got data backups. I back up my videos, my home movies. I publish things to the cloud. You, as a programmer, you will learn all these things. It'll be very valuable for your family, because you won't be dependent on people to fix your computer for you. When I get a virus, I have backups. I've already got images ready to go. Bang, I just put them back on. I'm not dependent on anyone. And people will come to you for that help also. I've had a neighbor come to me before with a virus, and like, how can you help me? I wasn't able to help him, but I gave him a lot of ideas, because once you get a virus, it's a big problem, right? Normally, if I ever got a virus, I just wipe out all my windows and put them back on and install it all over again. But anyway, my point is, you'll be able to save money, and you won't be dependent on anyone else, because you will be the information guru of your household and your family members. Pretty cool. Okay, number 6 is that in IT there is a huge world of variety and things that you can do within it. You are not limited by the technology. You can work for a Google or a Microsoft or an Amazon. You can do Java, you can do Linux, you can do lots of things. You don't have to pick one thing. So there's tons of variety. You can be the database guy. You could be just a manager. You could be just a programmer. You could be just a web guy. You could be just a front end. You could do graphic design. I don't know if that's program or not, but there's tons of variety. There's also, you can do security and hacking. That's a whole nother field. If you really like security and you like to try to hack your own systems, that's another field. You can make phone apps, mobile apps. You can sell things. You can sell products. You can build your own. I know a guy that does Minecraft add-ons. He builds Minecraft. He's really good at it too. There's tons and tons of opportunity and variety. Okay, number 5 is pretty important, and that is what you're doing is not manual labor, and that means it's easy on your body. If you were to be like a carpenter or a plumber, or you did drywall, you put up drywall all day, those things are noble professions, but they're very hard on your body. I used to work with my dad on cars, and it was really hard to get your fingers in there and get this, and you get grease all over you, and you drop this on your hand, and you bang your hand, and like everything was really hard to get to, right? And I would just think, man, I just wish I had a computer, because then I could just look at the code, I could just look at it and drag and drop, but you can't do that when you work on a car, for example. So my point is, it's a lot easier on your body to sit at a computer. Now that can be bad too. Too much sitting is bad for you, for your health. But you will, if you blow out your knee or something like that, if you hurt your back, you'll still be able to go to work the next day. If you blow out your knee and you are a contractor in construction, you might be laid out, man. You might not be able to make money. So the ability to save your body and save your doing manual labor, digging ditches, things like that, tree trimmers, people like that, people that take down trees, all that stuff is dangerous. This is not dangerous. Your body will be intact. Your mind might not be. I'm just kidding. Your mind will be sharp. It is a mind job, and it's not a manual labor job, and that's a good thing overall if you handle it right. Number 4 is pretty cool also, in that you are portable, in that your work can be virtual. You can take your work and send it to somebody else. You can work from home. I've worked from home for a couple companies, and right now they allow me to work from home if there's a good reason for it. Like if I'm feeling sick, I can work from home. If I'm expecting a delivery of couches, I can work from home. I've had companies in the past where I was able to work 2 days from home every day, every week. I could work 2 days from home. I picked Thursday and Friday, so it was like I was home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I didn't have to commute. What's cool about it is your work is it was also a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. It was in my top 10 worst thing, is that your work is virtual, but it's also a good thing. See, this is a good video. I told you I was going to make a good video, but this is also a bad and a good. But this is a good thing that your work is virtual sometimes, because you can take it and ship it to someone. You can create an app or something and sell it thousands of times. But it's because you are portable, you can work from home sometimes. You can take your laptop with you. You can take my work, you can take your laptop and go to a coffee store or go to the cafeteria and work there. So your work is very portable. You don't have to be on site. It's not like you're building a house. You have to be there, right? You can't work from home when you're building a house. So portability is a pretty cool concept. Working from home. I could contract for someone in London, England, from the United States. Pretty cool. Okay, number 3 is the fact that you can use programming to get inside of a lot of companies and then go and do something else. So there's a lot of opportunity to branch out. You can go into IT project manager. You can go into business analyst. You could go into regular manager. You could go into and possibly go to finance or go to education services. Or it's a doorway. And they said this in college, you can use this as a doorway into a company. If you don't even want to program, you can learn it, get inside a company, and then work your way up and become a manager or even a CTO. And these guys aren't even coders. A lot of them become business people. So it's a doorway into a company where you may not otherwise have had a doorway. If you were somebody in a different profession, it might be hard to get into a company, a lot harder, because there's not as much demand. Because there's so much demand, you can get in the doorway and then branch out, okay? Very valuable for those of you that want to start out in programming but don't want to end up in programming. Number 2, and this one is huge. You can work anywhere in the world with some limitations. Okay, I will say you can work anywhere in the world near a big city. So right now I'm in the St. Louis area. I used to live in Chicago. I could work any major city in the country if I wanted to. I could work in Portland, Oregon. I could work in New York. I could work in Miami, Florida. I could work in Austin, Texas. I'm even thinking of moving to Austin, Texas, because if I like the weather better. So let me give you an example. I was in Chicago for 7 years, and it's a tough city for traffic and cost of living and taxes and all that. And so I was able to pick up and move to St. Louis, where the cost of living is a lot cheaper, right? And the pace of life is a lot cheaper. The traffic is a lot less. The pace of life is a lot slower, I will say. And my brother is an immigration attorney, and he is in Chicago. He has his own business. He cannot pick up and move like we can. I could pick up and move tomorrow to an Austin, Texas. Now, granted, I have to sell my house and all that stuff. That's really hard. But he can't do that. His business is tied to the city. He's got clients. He's got referrals. He's got the business itself has advertisers. He's got the post, all these things he has tied to, and immigrants. There's a lot more immigrants in Chicago. So he can't just pick up and leave and come to a St. Louis, because there might be, he works with Russian and Polish. There's like hardly any Russians and Polish in St. Louis, right? So his business would be destroyed if he did that. He's tied to the city, and I'm not. I can live anywhere. Being portable is awesome. You can travel the world if you have the means and you're single and you don't have to worry about kids and all that stuff. Very cool. I could go to London, England. I could go to Australia if I wanted to. So you're very portable. Your job, they need you everywhere. As long as there's big companies and there's money, they need you. Okay? Very awesome. Very awesome. Okay, and the number one thing, which is kind of all tied together, and this is what keeps everything, this is what keeps most people going. Alright, you are very, very valuable as a programmer. Companies have lots of data, and they need to move it around and do stuff with it. They need to bring people in with their data in form fashion. You need to create forms for them. You need to create reports for them. The business people, they need reports, they need data, they need to process customers, they need to print checks, they need to send out healthcare cards, they need to send out mailers. They got all this information. Everything is information. Guess what? You are one of the most valuable people to a company. If you can move data around and help the company out, and that translates into money. So number one is you're valuable and you're well paid. Relatively well paid. So, for example, it's thundering right now. If you go to a company and you're going to be well paid relative to other professions, because you are so valuable. And when you're valuable, that means less people, and it's hard work. That means less people can do it. That's why they bring in a lot of immigrants. You may work with a lot of immigrants, like from India and so forth, because there's just not enough Americans to do the job. It's a hard job. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of will. You have to have a lot of soft skills. You have to be willing to sit. You have to be willing to solve problems. And there's not that many people willing to do that or smart enough to do that. So there is heavy, heavy demand. And that demand can also help you keep your job. So if you're really good at what you do, they do not want to lose you. They really don't want to lose you. That's awesome. So you'll make better money. You're in demand. And you'll have portability. Like if you don't like where you're working, you have a good chance to leave and go somewhere else because you're so valuable. So you're so valuable, you're going to make more money, you're going to have job security, you'll be able to go where you want. Now the job might be hard and difficult and all, but you will have these options because you're so freaking valuable. So that's my number one. Money, you're valuable, you get to go anywhere you want, you get to live anywhere. It's freaking awesome. So I mean, if that's what you want and you don't mind programming, you want to solve the problems, you're going to be valuable and you're going to make more money and you're going to get a job. If you're good, you're going to get a job.